Apple Intelligence is still finding its footing. Samsung keeps layering AI on top of Galaxy phones. And while the rest of the industry watches what OpenAI does next, Google just made the biggest move of 2026. Google has unveiled Gemini Intelligence, a completely new AI layer that turns Android from an operating system into what the company calls an intelligence system. This release is not about new features. It is about rebuilding the entire mobile experience around an AI agent that completes tasks for you. Chrome on Android is becoming a true agentic browser that can scroll, tap, and book things on your behalf. A new system called Magic Q lets your phone surface information before you even ask. And Google is pushing this AI layer beyond phones into cars, watches, glasses, and a brand new laptop category called Google Book. Let's start with Gemini Intelligence itself, because this announcement ties everything together. At the Android show, I/O Edition 2026, Mindy Brooks, VP of Product Management at Google, described it as Android transitioning from an operating system into an intelligent system. That phrasing matters. Your phone is no longer just a tool. It is becoming something that works for you in the background. This is also Google's direct answer to Apple Intelligence. But where Apple layered AI on top of iOS, Google is rebuilding Android around Gemini from the ground up. The Samsung Galaxy S26 series and Pixel 10 lineup get it first this summer. The real shift is what Gemini Intelligence can actually do. Long press the power button over a grocery list in your Notes app, and Gemini copies every item, opens your shopping app, and builds your cart. Ask it to book a front row bike for spin class, and it handles the reservation. Each of these used to mean switching between 3 or 4 apps. Now you describe the goal once, and Gemini does the rest. If your phone can complete entire workflows on its own, do you still need most of the apps you have installed? Tell me in the comments. This same idea moves into Chrome. Gemini in Chrome launches on Android in late June, built on Gemini 3.1, and it brings Auto Browse to mobile for the first time. Auto Browse means Chrome can actually scroll, tap, and type on your behalf. Forgot to reserve parking for a comedy show? Tell Chrome, and it pulls event details from your ticket confirmation and books a spot on Spot Hero. Need to swap puppy food for adult dog food on your recurring Chewy order? Just say it. This is the closest thing to a real consumer AI agent that is ever shipped on a phone. Then there is Magic Q, where things get genuinely different. Most assistants react to what you ask. Magic Q works the other way. If a friend texts asking when your flight lands, it pulls the confirmation from Gmail and offers to share it directly in the chat. The system reads context across your screen, your apps, and your data, and acts before you have to. But the question almost no one is talking about is this. When an AI agent is acting on your behalf, who decides when it should stop and check with you? Google built a safety layer directly into Gemini Intelligence. Auto Browse pauses and asks for confirmation before sensitive actions like purchases or social posts. Behind the scenes, Google is using Private Compute Core and protected KVM to safeguard data, and is adding protections against prompt injection attacks, which is now a real risk for any agentic system. What if your phone made a purchase you did not approve? Would you still trust an AI agent? Drop your answer below. Beyond the phone, Gemini Intelligence is moving into every screen Google can reach. Android Auto is getting Gemini for hands-free use and food orders through DoorDash. Smartwatches and Android XR glasses are next, with a glasses preview confirmed for the main Google I/O keynote. One AI layer across every Google Surface. And that leads to Google Book, the biggest hardware announcement of the show. Google launched a brand new laptop category built from the ground up for Gemini Intelligence, with Acer, Asus, Dell, HP, and Lenovo shipping devices this fall. Google Book comes with Magic Pointer, a Gemini-infused cursor, and the ability to run Android apps directly on the laptop. This is a direct shot at Apple's MacBook and Microsoft's Copilot Plus PCs. What Google announced at the Android show is not a normal update. Your phone stops being a passive tool and starts acting on your behalf. And this is only the warm-up. Google I/O 2026 is just days away. But while Google is turning Android into an AI agent that works for you, the rest of the AI industry is moving just as fast in completely different directions. Anthropic struck a wild deal with Elon Musk's SpaceX for massive computing power. OpenAI dropped GPT-5.5 Instant, the most reliable ChatGPT yet. And the US government is now stepping in to safety check the biggest AI models before launch. Anthropic just dropped a deal that nobody saw coming. They teamed up with SpaceX. Yes, Elon Musk's SpaceX. The same Elon Musk who runs xAI, which makes Grok, a direct competitor to Claude. But before we get into why this is wild, let's talk about the problem. If you've ever used Claude Pro or Claude Max, you've probably hit that frustrating message. You've reached your usage limit. Try again in a few hours. It happens because AI like Claude needs massive computing power to think, and there just hasn't been enough to go around. So what did Anthropic do? They went to one of the biggest supercomputers on the planet, the Colossus One data center in Memphis, Tennessee. This place has 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs running inside it. They also got 300 megawatts of power. That's enough electricity to run a small city. Anthropic is doubling the usage limits on Claude Code, their coding tool. Pro and Max users are getting their peak hour restrictions removed completely. And the Claude Opus models are getting much higher API limits for developers. Why does this matter? Because the bottleneck for AI right now isn't smartness. It's electricity and chips. Whoever has the most computing power wins, and Anthropic just made a huge jump. But here's the kicker, the part that's truly different. The deal includes plans for AI data centers in space, not on Earth, in orbit. SpaceX wants to launch satellites that can run AI computations using solar power. Even weirder? Elon Musk owns SpaceX and also owns xAI, Claude's direct competitor. When asked why he's helping a rival, Musk said, "No one set off my evil detector." Translation? Business is business. And the AI race just got a whole lot more interesting. And while Anthropic is solving the AI race through raw computing power, OpenAI is attacking the same problem from a different angle, making AI more reliable for normal users. OpenAI has updated ChatGPT's default model to GPT-5.5 Instant, and the biggest change is not that it sounds more impressive. The real change is that it is supposed to be more reliable for everyday people. Until now, one of the biggest problems with AI chatbots was confidence. They could give you a clean, polished answer, but sometimes that answer was wrong. And for normal, casual questions, that is annoying. But for serious topics like health, money, legal forms, work documents, or school help, that can become a real problem. That is where OpenAI says GPT-5.5 Instant is different. In its internal tests, GPT-5.5 Instant gave 52.5% fewer hallucinated claims than GPT-5.3 Instant on high-stakes questions related to medicine, law, and finance. It also reduced inaccurate claims by 37.3% on difficult conversations that users had already flagged for factual mistakes. In simple words, this model is not just trying to answer faster. It is trying to answer with fewer fake details. The other big difference is how it talks. OpenAI says GPT-5.5 Instant gives tighter answers with less extra wording and less over-formatting. In one example, it used about 30% fewer words and 29% fewer lines while still giving a useful answer. That matters because most people do not want a wall of text every time they ask a simple question. And personalization is now a bigger part of the upgrade. GPT-5.5 Instant can use context from past chats, files, and connected Gmail when the user allows it. So instead of starting from zero every time, it can understand your preferences, your projects, and what you were working on before. This matters because AI is moving from a search tool to a daily assistant. The difference is simple. Older ChatGPT models were useful, but they could be wordy and sometimes unreliable. GPT-5.5 Instant is designed to be clearer, more accurate, more personal, and easier to use in real life. So look at the pattern. Anthropic is grabbing more computing power than ever. ChatGPT is getting sharper and more reliable. And Google's Remy can run your whole digital life in the background. AI is getting bigger, smarter, and more independent all at once. Which leads to the obvious question, who's keeping an eye on all of this? Well, this just happened. Three of the biggest names in AI, Google DeepMind, Microsoft, and Elon Musk's xAI, have all agreed to let the US government check their AI models before they go live. The Guardian and the Washington Post broke the story. Before these companies release a powerful new model to the public, they hand it over to a US agency called CAISI. That stands for the Center for AI Standards and Innovation, and it sits inside the Commerce Department. CAISI's job is to stress test the model and look for serious risks, things like whether the AI could help someone build a cyber weapon, a dangerous chemical, or even a biological threat. Think of it like a safety inspector checking a new car before it's allowed on the road. This isn't the first deal of its kind. OpenAI and Anthropic signed similar agreements back in 2023. But adding Google DeepMind, Microsoft, and xAI is huge, because together, these companies cover most of the AI models everyday people actually use. Google's Gemini, Microsoft's Copilot, and xAI's Grok, they're all in the mix now. For scale, modern AI models can score above 90% on tough exams like the bar exam for lawyers. They write working code, plan trips, and answer medical questions at near doctor level. That's exactly why governments are nervous. A tool that's smart, in the wrong hands, could do real damage. While OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic were focused on building more powerful AI systems, DeepSeek shocked the entire industry with something completely different: pricing. Its new DeepSeek V4 model arrived with costs so low that many people in the AI world could barely believe the numbers at first. DeepSeek just dropped V4, and everyone is processing it in slow motion. And honestly, you can see why. It's matching Claude Opus 4.6 Max and Gemini 3.1 Pro on benchmarks that actually matter. And it's so cheap to run that the API pricing genuinely looks like a typo. And the entire thing is open source. Free to download, free to modify, free to deploy. Some are already calling it a big problem for Silicon Valley. Start with the specs because they tell you who DeepSeek is showing up to fight. V4 ships with 1.6 trillion parameters and a 1 million token context window. For perspective, that's roughly the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy stuffed into a single prompt, with room to spare. What matters is how it performs against the heavyweights. So let's put it side by side with the current top of the table, GPT-5.5, Gemini 3.1 Pro, and Claude Opus 4.6 Max. On Putnam 2025, which is basically the boss-level math competition for undergraduates, V4 scored a perfect 120 out of 120. Gemini and Claude both fell short. On long context retrieval, where you stuff 1 million tokens in and ask the model to find a specific sentence buried halfway through, V4 actually edges out Gemini 3.1 Pro. On agentic tasks, the kind of multi-step workflows everyone's racing to nail, it's neck and neck with Opus 4.6 Max and beats it on overall win rate across the board. And here's the part that makes the rest of this video make sense. The team behind V4 is roughly 40 times smaller than OpenAI. They don't have access to the latest NVIDIA chips. They just have ridiculously good engineers and a paper full of clever architectural choices. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable for everyone else. While GPT 5.5 charges around $8 per million tokens and Claude Opus 4.6 costs roughly $15 per million tokens, DeepSeek V4 charges only 27 cents per million input tokens. So roughly speaking, DeepSeek is somewhere between 30 and 50 times cheaper than the closed labs, depending on which one you're comparing to. Same job, same quality, wildly different bill. To understand why this is a big deal, think of it like this. Imagine 4 chefs standing in a row. The first one, let's call him GPT, runs a fine dining restaurant in Manhattan, 8-course tasting menu, white tablecloths, $200 a plate, excellent food, no complaints. The second chef, Claude, runs a similar place uptown, slightly different style, similar bill. The third, Gemini, runs a well-respected spot in Midtown, a touch cheaper. Then there's the fourth chef, DeepSeek. She runs out of a small kitchen in a neighborhood you've never heard of. Same ingredients, same technique, same plating. The food shows up at your table tasting nearly identical to the Manhattan version. The bill? $6. And here's the kicker. On the way out, she hands you the recipe. That's the situation. For most use cases, if you're a developer building a product, you simply cannot justify paying 30 times more for a model that performs roughly the same. The math doesn't math. Now, are there edge cases where the closed models still pull ahead? Sure. Specific reasoning tasks, niche tool use, certain enterprise coding scenarios, Opus and GPT 5.5 still have a real edge. But for the broad middle of what AI is actually used for, chat, summarization, RAG, agents, content generation, DeepSeek just turned the API market into a price war that the closed labs cannot win without absolutely shredding their margins. And the third piece is what really shifts the strategic ground. V4 is open source, fully. The weights are sitting on Hugging Face right now today. You can download the entire 1.6 trillion parameter model. Run it on your own infrastructure, fine-tune it on your own data, and deploy it without a single API call leaving your network. No usage limits, no rate caps, no surprise pricing changes next quarter when some board meeting decides API revenue needs to go up. And it gets more interesting when you ask, what hardware does this thing actually run on? The obvious answer is NVIDIA, H100s, H200s, the standard stack everybody uses. But here's the part that should make you sit up. V4 also runs on Huawei Ascend chips, Chinese silicon, domestic, sanction-proof. Think about what that means for a second. The US has been tightening export controls on advanced chips going into China for 2 years now. The entire logic of those controls was that without access to top-tier NVIDIA gear, China couldn't compete at the frontier of AI. DeepSeek just published a frontier-class model that quietly runs on both. They built it hardware flexible from the ground up. The chip war just got a lot more complicated overnight. So if a model exists that's this capable, this cheap, this open, and this hardware agnostic, it raises a much bigger question. Why does the rest of the industry, the closed-source, expensive NVIDIA-locked side of it, even exist? And to answer that, you have to look at the two completely different games being played here. The US AI labs, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, are running a moat strategy. The logic goes like this: spend billions training a frontier model, lock the weights behind an API, charge for access, reinvest the revenue into the next model. As long as your model stays half a step ahead of the open source pack, you keep the pricing power. China is playing a completely different game. Their bet is on adoption, not exclusivity. Open source the model, make it free to download. Let every developer in the world build on top of it. Win the platform layer instead of the model layer. Get embedded so deeply into the global AI ecosystem that the moat the closed labs are pouring billions into becomes irrelevant. And it's the same playbook that's worked before, by the way. Android opened up while iOS stayed walled. Linux opened up while Windows stayed locked. Open source moves slowly, until suddenly it's everywhere, and the paid version starts looking a little strange. Here's the awkward truth for the closed side. If you're a developer choosing a model today, the question isn't which is best, it's which is best per dollar that I can actually deploy at scale. DeepSeek answers that question better than anyone right now. Does that mean the closed labs lose? Not yet. They still have an edge at the absolute frontier. They still have the brand recognition. They still have the enterprise contracts. But the floor of what open source can do just got dragged way, way up. And that's not a comfortable place to be when your entire business model depends on being scarce. While DeepSeek V4 is making huge waves in the AI world and challenging giants like OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic,